Sasha bandages her hand, then wakes her partner Tommy, insisting they start climbing before the weather worsens. He agrees. Before they move, she peeks out of the tent, taking in the breathtaking view of the troll wall. Soon after, they gear up for the tandem climb. Tommy remarks on the cold, "Just you're all the at." As they begin scaling the mountain, aiming for the summit, Sasha slips partway through the climb. Same goddamn spot every time. She regains her footing and tries again while Tommy urges her to take it slow. After several failed attempts to get past a particularly difficult section, Tommy suggests they call it a day, noting that a storm is rolling in. Sasha, however, insists on giving it another try. Seeing the conditions worsen, Tommy firmly tells her they should head back down and return to their tent. Later, as the storm intensifies, Tommy suggests postponing tomorrow's climb. Sasha brushes it off as just bad weather and asks what's really bothering him. He admits she sometimes pushes things too far. With a sigh, he says he doesn't know how many climbs he has left. Then quickly adds that he still loves what they're doing and her, but asks her to slow down instead of chasing one extreme after another. He then shares an old saying, "Luck is like anything else you take up a mountain. Eventually, it runs out." Sasha pushes back, asking if he really thinks his luck has run out halfway up a mountain. "If my lucky compass is should, oh my god, just stop that fucking compass." Tommy apologizes. As the storm grows stronger, they finally decide to descend. Sasha asks Tommy to promise that once the storm passes, they'll come back, finish the climb, and reach the summit. He agrees. Halfway down the mountain, rocks begin to fall around them. Down a little bit. Tommy urgently tells Sasha to descend quickly, press herself against the wall, and keep her head down. Sasha secures herself to the rock, but suddenly more rocks rain down. He calls out, asking if she secured a knot for his rappel. Sasha instinctively shouts yes, but when she glances down, she realizes she hasn't. Panic sets in. She tells him to hold on, but before she can fix it, rocks crash into him, knocking him off balance and leaving him unconscious. Sasha grabs onto his rope, desperately pleading for him to wake up, but she can't hold his weight for long. Faced with an impossible choice, she finally lets go, watching in horror as he falls to his death. 5 months later, she arrives in Australia, Tommy's homeland. Hoping to feel close to him again while taking on whitewater kayaking in the Grand Isle Narrows, she tries to use GPS, but there's no signal. Relying on a physical map instead, she makes her way toward the Wanderer National Park Ranger office. Along the way, she stops to rest, her thoughts drifting back to Tommy. The next day, she reaches the ranger station. The ranger officer asks if she plans to go alone and advises against it, warning that people often get lost in these woods. He then asks her to sign in so they can track where she's headed. About an hour later, Sasha stops at a gas station. Inside, she grabs some snacks, while a group of local hunters tries to flirt with her, but she ignores them. Sasha notices a man walking into the store carrying packets of beef jerky. The employee tells him it's selling like hotcakes and calls him Ben. As Sasha asks one of the hunters to move aside, he suddenly slaps her on the backside. He then casually offers to show her around if she's interested. She's like, "Okay, those? Looks like she got everything she needs." They leave. Sasha pays for her snacks and fuel. Ben apologizes for their behavior, but she brushes it off, saying she can handle herself and didn't need defending. He nods and leaves. Before heading out, Sasha grabs a pack of Ben's beef jerky. Outside, Sasha studies the map, clearly confused. She looks over at Ben and asks if he can give her directions to Grand Isle Narrows, adding that her GPS isn't working. Ben nods and asks if she wants the easy way or the hard way. Sasha replies, "The best way." "Sorry, this is us. You made this left, and it's a bit of a doubling and a stripe shooty case." He smirks and says that's the standard route. Then he gives her his advice, telling her to start at Blackstone Bay and go about 9 kilometers. He explains that just before the split, she'll find an amazing camping area by a river. Sasha nods. Ben asks if she can handle it, and she confidently says she can. He warns her about the dangers of the trek and waters, but Sasha just smiles, rolls up her window, and drives off. As night falls, Sasha pulls over and parks her van. As she begins packing her belongings into the bag, the 2 hunters she encountered at the gas station arrive with several others. They try to strike up a conversation, offering her a beer, but Sasha ignores them and gets back into the van. Hours pass as the men drink, laugh, dance nearby, while Sasha eventually falls asleep. The next day, she sets out in her canoe, kayaking through strong currents with steady control. After a while, she pauses briefly to relax, before continuing toward Blackstone Bay. Once there, she sets up her tent and hangs her bag high in a tree to keep it safe from wild animals. She pulls out Ben's beef jerky, takes a bite, and is pleasantly surprised by how much she likes it. The following morning, Sasha wakes up, steps out of the tent, and realizes her bag is gone. Frustrated, she sighs and heads back toward her tent, but stops when she notices a snake inside hissing at her. She backs away. She returns to her canoe. Just a few paddles in, she spots a blue canoe nearby. Curious, she decides to investigate. She heads deeper into the dense forest. There, she comes face to face with Ben, who greets her with a wide smile, saying she made it. It's me from the gas station. Yeah, I remembered. On Bang. Sasha? He asks her if she's enjoying the place, and she nods. She then explains that something got into her gear last night and took everything including her food and phone. Ben chuckles, suggesting it was probably wombats, joking that her phone bill would skyrocket since they text all the time, with their little paws. Seriously though, I'm sorry. He reassures her not to worry, saying he always packs more than he needs and is happy to share. Sasha thanks him. He then gestures for her to sit while he prepares some breakfast for her. Say make beef jerky? I'll make that myself. Cut it, dry it, hanging away from the flies for a few weeks. Good protein. Sasha mentions she tried the beef jerky and actually liked it. You tried Jenna's? Curious, she asks why he named it Jenno. Ben replies that it was his mother's name. She laughs, saying his mother must be flattered, but his expression shifts. But he brushes it off and offers her some water, pointing out that he siphons it from the trees. Then she asks if he spends a lot of time out there. Ben replies that he practically lives in the wild, adding that if he doesn't get out on the river at least once or twice a week, he feels restless, almost in physical pain. She asks where in Australia he's from, and Ben corrects her, saying he's not actually Australian. She guesses Britain, and he confirms it, explaining that his mother brought him here when he was a child. He then asks how long she's been kayaking. Just a while, into a little bit of everything? Aye, but mostly mountains, right? So I already know about you. Yeah, you know, the danger makes you feel alive. He hands her a plate of food. She accepts it and tells him that she is done with mountains. Ben assumes it's because of a breakup, that her boyfriend kept the mountains while she took the rivers. Sasha doesn't respond. Sensing the tension, he apologizes for prying, and she tells him it's all right. She then mentions to Ben that the hunters from the gas station showed up at her campsite the other night and suspects they were messing with her. Ben nods, saying she handled it perfectly. Confused, Sasha asks how he knows. Nah, I was there. I thought maybe you could use a hand. A woman alone and all? Not the guys though, clearly. He adds that he knew she was special the moment they met, just like his mother. Unsettled, Sasha says she should get going, but Ben stops her. That's when she notices something chilling, a bracelet that belonged to Tommy. Ben casually says he liked it and asks if she wants it back. Then he tells her to wait and tosses her bag out from his shelter. He then steps out, holding a crossbow and a speaker. He plays a song and calmly explains that he's restocked her supplies, but removed her phone. He casually tells her that she has until the end of the song to get as far away from him as possible. Samantha, do we all danger? Freaking Snapping out of it, Sasha grabs the bag and runs. She reaches her canoe and pushes off into the river. Moments later, the song ends. She paddles frantically, letting the current carry her. During the fall, she crashes into a rock and hits her head. She surfaces just in time to see her canoe drifting away. Clinging to her bag, she pulls herself onto the rocky bank. After catching her breath, she forces herself to keep moving. Suddenly, she hears voices nearby. Calling out for help, she climbs toward the sound, only to discover it's a recording. A crossbow bolt suddenly whizzes past her, barely missing. She runs with Ben close behind. Another shot hits her in the leg, but she keeps going despite the pain. He fires again, striking her bag and knocking her off balance. She slips, slides down the slope, and falls back into the river. The current sweeps her into a narrow gorge. Later, battered and exhausted, Sasha examines the wound on her leg. She checks the phone. It's broken. Then she changes into a clean shirt, eats some chocolate, and drinks water. She notices her pepper spray and keeps it within easy reach. Moments later, Sasha takes off running, determined to put as much distance as possible between herself and Ben. She glances up at the uneven rocks above and climbs upward. Reaching the top, she finally exhales the breath she's been holding. She pulls out a pair of binoculars from her bag and scans the area, spotting Ben's canoe in the distance. She looks around cautiously, and then suddenly sees him. Instinctively, she hides. When she dares to look again, he's staring right at her, smiling. Sasha quickly climbs back down and hides, waiting several tense minutes. Once everything seems quiet, she carefully makes her way up again. In the distance, she spots Ben and his canoe not far from him. Realizing this might be her only chance to escape, she decides she has to reach it. Moving as quietly as possible, she sneaks toward the canoe and tries to untie it, but the rope is tightly secured. As she struggles with it, her foot suddenly snaps into a hidden bear trap. Her scream echoes through the forest. Hearing her, Ben rushes toward her, laughing maniacally. He grabs the chain and pulls her closer. Thinking fast, Sasha pulls out her pepper spray and sprays it directly into his face. He screams in pain, staggering back. Sasha tries to grab his crossbow, but he yanks her away before she can. She raises the spray again, but he orders her to throw it toward him. Ben then frees her from the trap. Shaken and angry, Sasha asks if he thinks this is some kind of game. Ben calmly replies that it isn't. It's a ritual. Later, he offers her some fruit. Disgusted, she tells him there's something seriously wrong with him. Ben defends himself, saying he gave her a choice earlier, the easy way or the hard way. What did you choose? That night, as rain pours down, Ben casually talks about how rituals are important, that they ground people and remind them who they are. He then asks her if she knows that some tribes file their teeth into sharp points. Enduring pain is a part of growing up, Sasha. So ride with passage. The next morning, Sasha demands to know where he's taking her. He says he'll explain later, then reveals that he got her name from the ranger's register and looked her up. So the trowel wool. I guess you don't want to talk about that? She insists it was an accident. But Ben counters, saying he read that Tommy was highly experienced and had completed dangerous climbs. Sasha simply replies that sometimes things just happen. As Ben talks, Sasha notices a metal hook, something she could use as a weapon. Ben casually asks whether Tommy's funeral was hot or cold. She replies that he was cremated. So did you come here to scatter his ashes? Realizing what she's about to do, Ben shoves her into the river. Later, he pulls out a harness and hands it to her. Confused, she asks why. He tells her they need it to climb down. Sasha follows him deeper inside. Soon, a foul stench fills the air. Then she sees it. Bodies hanging from above, lifeless and decaying. Ben casually explains that some tribes believe consuming their prey captures its spirit. There are native tribes that say to capture the spirit of your prey, you have to consume its liver. The trick is finding a spirit worth capturing, I suppose. You remember the Carters from the video? They didn't put out much of a fight. Not like you. Horrified, Sasha realizes what he's been doing. The beef jerky he makes comes from his victims. Sasha panics, but Ben calmly reassures her that everything is all right. She tells him she can sense he's been through something terrible before, that people have hurt him, and she quietly apologizes for what he went through. He pauses briefly, then shows her his sharpened teeth. Then he runs off. Shaken, Sasha looks around and spots a photograph. Suddenly, Ben reappears, grabs her, and hoists her up, binding her in place. He opens a container and casually explains that it's his homemade salt brine, the perfect tenderizer for his beef jerky. She asks if the woman in the photo is his mother, saying he looks just like her. Ben nods and softly replies that she used to say, Jenno loves Benno.